You are listening to a special live edition of Greg and his friends talk sports. And by live, I just really mean not edited that much. Now, in all seriousness, I was joined by Michelle Garmon, Mike Hutsell, and Grant Shouse to talk about what Central Indiana sports fans are talking about, which we do every single day here on the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt. Coming up today, Thursday, March 12th, 2026. We're going to talk about some Big Ten basketball and, of course, ACC, SEC, Big 12, and Big East as well. Some interesting NFL news and Colts news the last 48 hours or so. And losers of 10 straights, the Pacers look to get back on track at home tonight against Phoenix. Joining me to talk about all of that and more is Grant Shouse, Mike Hutsell, and Tipton Tribune and Elwood call leader, sports editor Michelle Garmon. Thank you so much for joining us. My friends and I will be back tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the day after that. Guys, IU 74-61 loss to IU. Hutsell, your thoughts?
Such a frustrating end to the season, but just a fitting way for it to go down. A team that was effectively a lock for the NCAA tournament as recently as early February. All they had to do was just not fall apart, and what did they do? They fell apart. And in a year where the bubble is actively begging teams, hey, somebody take a spot. All you have to do is beat 14-19 Northwestern or whatever their record is, one of two times, and Indiana can't get it done. They lose 5 of 6 to close the season, and it was just a meltdown all the way around. Darren DeVries has burned his goodwill, as sad as that is to say. He's going to go into his second season with not a hot seat, but there's going to be a lot of eyes and attention on him because the way this season ended cannot happen. Just an absolute choke job from this team and this program. Just gross all the way around.
I don't want to go as far to say that the back half or the last stretch of this season has been a travesty, but it kind of has been. You lose games that you're not supposed to lose. You lose to Northwestern twice. You get blown out on the road at Purdue. You get blown out on the road at Illinois. Okay, those are excusable. Those are good teams. But you lose to teams you're not supposed to lose to, like losing to Northwestern at home or losing to them in the Big Ten or getting blown out at Ohio State over the weekend. That, the winner of that game all but clinches a Big Ten, not a Big Ten, but an NCAA tournament berth. And I know we talked about this in the Big Ten pod, and Michelle kind of said this, and I do agree with her to an extent. It's not a team that deserves to be in the NCAA tournament because it's a team that probably goes to Dayton if they do get in, which they're not going to now. But if they were to get in, they would definitely go to Dayton and probably get rocked by whoever they'd be playing in Dayton, just by what they've done here in the last part of the season. They have won a game since February 7th. They have won a game since then. That is just unacceptable and cannot happen in the last part of the season to make the tournament. You just can't have that happen. And hopefully next year things can get fixed and get figured out. And Darren DeVries, I think, knows what kind of players he wants to have and wants to bring in. And hopefully Indiana can get it going in the right direction. And I'll be honest with you, they were still more of a fun team to watch than the last couple of years, where it was more of an NBA pickup style. There wasn't any structure. The coaching was bad. The ego was bad. You just couldn't stand Umar Ballo running up and down the floor. This is a better alternative. It's not a great alternative, but it's a better alternative from what we've seen in the last couple of seasons. So hopefully it can get going where it needs to go.
Well, I'm going to disagree with Hutsell just a little bit. Scott Dolson really came out with DeVries, and DeVries' seat is not going to be hot. It might get, if things don't go by the end of next year, it might be mildly warm as far as the IU administrators are. I really don't
Never said it
care
would be
about
hot.
the IU fan base so much because I do think Indiana has some of the most, for as patient as we have been in football through the years, we are so impatient when it comes to basketball. And I do think it's because Indiana's always been is known as a basketball state, and I get that. I will say this. I'm anxious to see, given a full time to actually recruit, look at the portal. I think Ryan Carr is good to bring in. I think DeVries is already doing well I think he's already doing well recruiting. To be honest, he's a better high school recruiter than Mike Whitson was in 4 years, and Archie Miller was early, but he didn't know he might be able to get recruits. He didn't know what to do with them when he had them. I do think this. I think we're used to winning, but something I'm going to throw this out. I get tired of everybody throwing things back to Bob Knight. Bob Knight was getting ripped a lot. His last 5, even before he got fired, his last 5 seasons there. He underachieved too. So sometimes.
Been a while.
Yeah. And my thing is, look at the patience that Nebraska's had with Fred Hoiberg. It's paid off.
I hope it doesn't take 9 years.
No.
I disagree, Michelle. Nebraska hasn't won anything with Fred Hoiberg to date. They haven't won anything. But they still haven't won an NCAA tournament game. They haven't won a Big Ten title.
Right.
They now they have been a better product than what they have been, but they haven't won anything with it.
Well, but they've contended for a Big Ten title, and Indiana hasn't contended for a Big Ten title since they won the last one. That's what I was talking about with Fred Hoiberg. They gave him, he's landed recruits, he's figured out. I think you have to, if you don't come, like I said in the pod, I don't think if you don't come from the Big Ten necessarily, I don't think you're going to come in and take the Big Ten by storm. Dusty May saw I don't care, it was student manager, but he knew what Big Ten basketball was, and on a daily basis and different things. I think it's kind of hard. Plus, hey, Dusty May's cupboard was not bare when he went to Michigan. And, he got hired nice enough time. He was able to bring in some stuff. Woodson was not good, but I'm a fan. I'm anxious to see his game. I like this Prince Moody that's coming in, and I say that because he has bought into Indiana University. He was tweeting support for football. He's tweeted support for women's basketball at different times. He's bought into the university, and those are the kind of kids that you want to bring in. I think that's what Painter gets at Purdue, kids that want to be at Purdue. And I think this Prince Moody wants to be at Indiana, and I'm hoping that's what Darren DeVries is able to do, go out and find kids that want to be at Indiana University for the whole thing. So
right now, the score in Chicago is Rutgers 16, Minnesota 15. Everyone is excited about what's going to happen in that one. The winner plays UCLA tomorrow night at 9, and then the winner of that gets 3 seed Michigan State. Earlier today, Iowa had a 21-0 run and beat Maryland 75-64, and they play Ohio State first game in Chicago on Thursday at noon, and the winner of that one gets number 1 seed Michigan.
That Iowa-Ohio State game is a real sleeper game. Those are 2 teams that are very fairly matched. I'm really looking forward to that game, like we talked about on the Big Ten pod of, the matchup of Bennett Sturts and Bruce Thornton, 2 of the most overlooked guards in the Big Ten, maybe in the country, just because they play on mid-tier Big Ten teams. And so I'm really looking forward to that Ohio State-Iowa game.
Ben McCollum has not lost a conference tournament game since 2017.
Just unbelievable.
Also on Wednesday, Washington beat USC in overtime, and good thing there's time between sessions, so it didn't affect the IU tip. That's all I cared about. Zoom Diallo, 22 points, 11 assists. Washington is 16-16 and plays number 23, Wisconsin, at 2:30 today, and the winner of that one gets Illinois. Anybody care about that game?
Find out who the real UW is.
That's right. I hope it's Washington. If I mentioned I hate Wisconsin, sorry, I just hate Wisconsin. Big East at Madison Square Garden. Our interest in the tournament has waned here in central Indiana. Butler 91-81 lost to Providence. Their season ends with a thud. Providence will play number 13 St. John's at noon. Also on Thursday at Madison Square Garden, Creighton Seton Hall at 2:30. Number 6 UConn against Xavier at 7. Xavier beat Marquette 89-87 on Wednesday, and then Villanova against either Georgetown or DePaul at 9:30. First two games are on Peacock, and the UConn and Villanova games, amazingly, are on FS1.
Yes or no, hot seat, Thad Matta?
Yes, but no.
Yes.
Probably. But I will say this. I agree with what they said. Butler does not have the resources to compete in a Power 4 conference in any sport. I know that for a fact. Fundraising to get those, they just don't. They can't do it. And
you can't get money from all the pharmacists?
No, which people really don't. Gordon Hayward has probably been their biggest donor for anything. That's what's amazing to me. But they don't. They do not. They just don't have it. They kind of control how much enrollment they have every year and different things. It's just different. They probably now in this age of the NIL and transfer portal, this is when they need to go back to being in a mid-major conference.
I don't think that they'll fire Thad. I don't think they'll get rid of him. Do I think they should? Probably, because of just the way the landscape is changing, where you just got to get dudes in there that can recruit at a high level, and you've got to get money in flowing into the program. Maybe not just the program, but the entire athletic department as a whole. They just don't, like Michelle said, they just don't have that at Butler right now. And I think if you were to take this off season and find a way to get some money to Thad and try and get guys in there that can play and compete at a high level, I think maybe you give the guy one more year. I don't think they will fire him, but they probably should. I'd hate to see him go. He's a good dude. And I'm kind of a pseudo Butler fan in a way. I've always followed him, but never been my rooting interest. Hopefully they can get where they need to go, but I don't know if they will fire Thad Matta.
He's meant a lot to that program, but it's time for a new direction. In the ACC, NC State beat Pitt 98-88 and will play Virginia at noon on ESPN2 on Thursday. Number 24, Louisville escaped SMU with a 62-58 win. It will play Miami at 2:30. Number 1, Duke against Florida State after the Seminoles beat Cal 95-89. That rivalry, man. That conference rivalry, Florida State, Cal. Just went final. And in the final game Thursday in Charlotte, it's number 19 North Carolina against either Wake Forest or Clemson. The first two games are on ESPN2. The night games are on ESPN. And guess who else is on in the night games? Jake Dunn.
Jake Dunn got to see a barn burner last night. Virginia Tech, Wake. You think he wore his Miles Colvin Purdue jersey?
That's right. He should have.
In that tournament, I'm telling you right now, watch out for Florida State. If there's a bid thief lurking in the ACC, it's the Seminoles, man. Duke just has to get healthy. They're going to be a 1 seed. It doesn't matter. But they just lost Caleb Foster for the entire postseason. Their big man, whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce, is out with a foot injury as well. It might not be the worst thing in the world for them to get in and out of that tournament quick and just kind of regroup going into March. We know about North Carolina. Caleb Wilson's hands are made out of paper mache, apparently. So he's now broken two fingers. He's in trouble. Miami, I'm not buying them just yet. Louisville could knock them off tomorrow. And then Virginia I just don't know enough about Virginia, even though they're the number 2 seed in the ACC. So
came from out of nowhere.
Florida State, they're dangerous, man. They got hot at the end of the year, and they like you said, that huge long-time rivalry with Cal, they got through that emotional battle today, and we'll see what they can do the rest of the way.
Yeah. Throw the records out when Cal and Florida State get together, man. Just a good old people really focus in on that Duke, North Carolina, but that Cal Florida State is something else.
They're Atlantic Coast neighbors.
Yeah. The All Coast Conference.
That's right. Big 12. You guys see that floor? The Big 12?
Love it.
It was wild. I loved it. It was
But I don't know. I don't
cool.
think the players like it.
Yeah. Iowa State's players liked it. They beat Arizona State 91-42. It was 45-16 at halftime. They'll play number 16 Texas Tech at 12:30 on Thursday. Game 2 in Kansas City is number 2 Arizona against UCF after the Knights came back from 8 down in the final 2 minutes to beat Cincinnati in overtime 66-65. That game's at 3 o'clock on ESPN. Then in the second session, starting at 7, it'll be number 5 Houston against BYU after A.J. Dybantsa scored 27 points in a 68-48 win over West Virginia. And in the final game Thursday in Kansas City, it's number 14 Kansas against either 21-10 TCU or 19-13 Oklahoma State on ESPN. And guys, is the Big 12 the best conference?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to that floor real quick. It was really neat to watch when Cincinnati got done pissing it down its leg, what it did on the court. And the 8-point lead they gave up in about 33 seconds. That was a sight to behold. The puddling on the court was pretty cool. Also, that's being ran by an iPad.
Yeah.
Wow.
The display is being ran by an iPad.
Well, March 11, 2026 is a bad day because the Kentucky Wildcats won 87-82 over LSU. Hopefully Missouri will beat them on Thursday, 12:30 on the SEC network. Auburn beat Mississippi State 79-61. They'll play number 25 Tennessee at 3. Ole Miss beat Texas 76-66. Great basketball in the SEC. They'll play 22-9 Georgia. Georgia's a double bye team in the SEC apparently at 7. And the final game on Thursday, it's 21-10 Texas A&M against either Oklahoma or South Carolina. Where are the good teams in the? I know they play the next day.
I was going to say Florida.
Single bye for Georgia. My bad.
Florida's in there, Greg. Don't worry.
Florida's good. I know they have some good teams, but eesh.
Yeah, I myself was kind of hoping that a lot of these bubble teams would lose in the first or second round of their tournament, and we might get some more mid-majors into the NC2A tournament to make it a little bit more exciting this year. Because I'll tell you what, I don't think a lot of those bubble teams will make for an exciting March Madness.
No,
yeah,
they won't.
Texas is going to get in, and man, that's a rough watch. That goes back to Indiana, and just look, somebody could have gotten in, and it's freaking Texas, not you. So
they were
Sean Miller is doing his best Archie Miller impersonation down there in Texas and still managed to somehow get in.
Maybe it'll be Minnesota, which now leads Rutgers 23-21 for everybody who's hanging on the edge.
Watch out for the Cade Tyson train is rolling.
That's right. And in women's college basketball, defending MAC champion Ball State is now 25-6 after beating Bowling Green 75-63. The Cardinals face Toledo in Friday's second semifinal at 12:30ish. Grace Kingery scored 25. Bree Salenbean 18 points and 10 rebounds for the Cardinals. The other semifinal on Friday in Cleveland will be regular season champion 26-6 Miami against 18-12 rival Ohio. That game's at 10 a.m. on Friday in Cleveland. Championship game Saturday 11 a.m. on the CBS Sports Network.
Hey, go Redhawks. Miami of Ohio's women's basketball team is coached by former associate head coach under Terry Morin, co-associate head coach Glenn Box. This is his third season. He's done a really nice turnaround there. And
go Cardinals.
They and Ball State actually shared the regular season conference title.
Well, they're the number 1 seed. And go Cardinals. Don't you dare besmirch the Cardinals here.
I didn't besmirch him. I just said I'm giving a shout out to Glenn Box because he's done an outstanding job there.
I know. Hey, guys, Daniel Jones, 2 years, $88 million. Go.
Have fun.
The richest 2-year contract possibly in the history of NFL, and for an oft-injured quarterback who, I don't know, has he ever
at his best as a top 10 quarterback on his very best day?
Yeah. I don't, not knowing what you're going to get and an Achilles, and you never know. And with his age, is he going to be ready? And $50 million the first year when he's probably not going to be 100% until sometime late September, possibly even later. And that's throwing an awful lot of money that way.
What'd you say his contract was again, Greg?
2 years, $88 million.
Shit.
With a chance to get to 100. The first year is 50, right?
Yes, first year's 50. He gets guaranteed 50, and then he gets a guaranteed 60 if he gets injured.
Dude, $88 million over 2 years to just be a quarterback for a bad NFL team's not a bad gig. Good for him. Whichever team drafts Fernando Mendoza, whether it's the Raiders or not, is probably who I'm just going to go be a fan of. I'm kind of done with the Colts. They continue to make me miserable. So, you know what? Hey, good for him. I hope it works out. I hope it works out for Ballard. I hope it works out for the Ursay girls, who I guess just know everything about running a professional sports
they've
team.
been training
So
since they were kids. They've been training since they were kids, Grant.
Good God.
Hey, Maxx Crosby, Trey Hendrickson. This is fun.
Huh.
Kind of funny if you ask me.
The Ravens are some scumbags, aren't they?
Oh, they are. You see how they're trying to back out of it now? That they're saying their plan was to have both Crosby and Hendrickson, but the failed physical. It's after all of the other general managers have kind of bashed them, and they've making future trades probably impossible for the Ravens. I don't think his all of a sudden coming and saying, well, it was a failed physical. They knew it. I mean, they knew what kind of surgery he had, and they knew there was no way he'd be able to pass physical at this stage. They already knew that. Just disgusting.
Yeah, it's a bad look. I mean, when you hear Crosby was at the facility over the weekend and they were negotiating with Hendrickson while he was there, I mean, there's just a lot of bad coming out of Baltimore on this, which as somebody who I just don't like the Ravens franchise for whatever reason, so this is hilarious to me. Actually, I know the reason. Reason is Ray Lewis. I don't mind the Ravens coming out looking like crap on something, so this is just a bad look. And then you go back and think about, as an Eagles fan, that they traded Jair Alexander to Philadelphia this year, and Alexander retired before he even played a game because his knee was so messed up. It makes you wonder, did the Ravens know? They say, well, he passed the physical and how he went through with the trade anyway. But there's some bad faith going on with Baltimore right now. Teams are not feeling what's going on down there, and I'm here for it.
I can say this. I'm not going to lie to you and say that I'm the biggest NFL fan, and I'm just kind of a casual fan. So my question is, has that ever even happened before, where a team has backed out of a trade? I've never even heard of that.
Oh, it's happened.
They have, if a player really does fail a physical, but it's usually one where they should be able to pass it. They're at the timeline where they can pass it. But
okay.
I shouldn't say back out of it. Trade becomes void. I don't know that anybody really has backed out of a trade like this before.
I gotcha.
Much time passing too. That's the other thing. Like, the Raiders went and made how many deals in free agency after they thought this trade was consummated, completed, and done. They went out and signed just 7, 8, 9 guys on the first day of free agency, and now this is falling apart this way. And somebody talked about Kwity Paye, who went from the Colts to the Raiders. Is his deal going to get voided because the Raiders are stuck with Crosby again?
Yes,
Who knows?
Crosby's not returning to the Raiders, guys. That's not happening. Right? There's no way he's returning now.
He's damaged goods, though. I mean, that's the thing. The Ravens have made him a damaged product.
By the way, here's have been the Jets quarterbacks since Geno Smith: Michael Vick, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Bryce Petty, Josh McCown, Sam Darnold, Luke Falk, Trevor Siemian, Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson, Mike White, Joe Flacco, Tim Boyle, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields, Tyrod Taylor, Brady Cook. Back to Geno Smith. Man, the Jets.
The quarterback, if the Jets draft you, you end up in a quarterback graveyard, and you hope for somebody to resuscitate your career, which for Sam Darnold, he's gotten that. But Geno Smith began in the quarterback graveyard, and he's going to end his career in the quarterback graveyard.
Yeah. Geno Smith got that too. He turned into a decent quarterback after he left the Jets.
And just think, in 3 years, their starting quarterback on opening day, Daniel Jones.
That's right.
Yep.
Hey, Tyreek Woolen to the Eagles. Any thoughts, Mike?
Big fan if he's got his head on straight. He's a really, really good corner, but the reports out of Seattle where they just got tired of his attitude. He had more taunting penalties than several teams did last year as collectively. That's what kind of wore out his welcome in Seattle. But there's zero question that with Woolen, Quinyon Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean, that's maybe the most talented 3 corners that one single team has in the NFL. So sign me up as long as he's not going to be crazy.
The Noblesville Boom lost their 7th game in a row tonight, 135-128 to the Motor City Cruise. Of course, all their players are playing for the Pacers, so makes total sense. They are not going to make the playoffs. They have 6-7 games left. Conor Daly will drive for Dreyer Reinbold in the Indy 500. The series moves to the Dallas area while they'll drive around Cowboy Stadium in Arlington on Sunday at 12:30. More on both Conor Daly and the race in Arlington on this week's Indy Report. That'll be in our 5 p.m. window on Thursday. Michelle, I'm glad Conor's going to be driving in the 500. I just feel like he should have had a better ride than that.
Oh, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I wanted to see him get a ride for the whole season, actually. He's one of my favorite drivers. I think he's one of the fan favorites. What I want to encourage everybody is, hey, listen to the IndyCar Report. Elijah and Greg really know their IndyCar racing. And
Stanley, too.
So that's where he's getting at. So does Dave. And when his daughter Heather comes on, she really knows her stuff. And I try to contribute a little bit of a 2 cents. I don't know if my 2 cents are worth a lot, but I will say this. If you haven't tuned into an IndyCar race this year, tune into one. I think it's some exciting racing.
And tune into the IndyCar Report this week with Elijah Poe and Dave Chanley. And, guys, any opinions, Michelle, on Bam Adebayo's unforgettable performance on Tuesday night?
Oh, it's very forgettable for me. I'll tell you what, if I had been working that game and
tweeted about it all day, yeah.
And had to have somebody had to sit through 43 free throws by just one player, I would have been pretty upset. I've seen it, a lot of NBA players. That performance deserves an asterisk. They made a mockery. Adam Silver can want to sit there and get on the Jazz and the Colts for tanking and trying to get number 1 draft picks they've never had before. But yet he can allow what happened last night, fouling to prolong the game. And it was a mockery. It's terrible. That's today to me, I'm sorry, but that's today's NBA. That's today's players. Soft, entitled. It's all about me. It doesn't matter if it looks good or whatever. My 83 points. And I'm sorry, your 83 does not come close to Kobe's 81. It just doesn't. And some of those others, it's ridiculous. 43 free throws in a game. To me, that shows that you have a officiating problem if you're the NBA. For one player to shoot 43 free throws.
I want to have a couple bourbons with Pat Riley and get his real opinion on what he thinks about this, because we all know Pat Riley. He's synonymous with the Heat at this point. A good old Kentucky guy. He probably enjoys a good bourbon, and it's got to be just making him a little red ass because he's as old school NBA as they come. And he was probably sitting there just silently spitting just absolute fire because it was gross. It's a gross. Spoelstra should be fined for that performance. It was disgusting. The referee should be investigated. FanDuel should not cash any bets. Jay Huff was right there next to him. He was only 71 points short of catching Adebayo last night. Just not bad. That wasn't basketball. I'm sorry. Congrats to Bam for getting it done, for being the number 2 all-time guy now in the scoring column. Great for him. But man, that's just rough. 43 free throws, 7 of 22 3-pointers. Just not serious basketball whatsoever. That's TikTok basketball at its finest.
My favorite tweet from the entire night was someone that said, and you saying this about Jay Huff is what reminded me of it. My favorite tweet was from someone that said, Bam's 83 is just the appetizer for Jay Huff's 96 coming up tonight. So, I didn't see, I'm just being honest. I didn't see 1 second of it. I haven't watched 1 second of it. If both of you are telling me that it was absolutely atrocious and there should be some investigating, I believe that there probably was some shady stuff going on. I don't know if anyone
At the very end, it definitely was.
I don't know if anyone will ever touch Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points. That's kind of like the Purdue basketball national championship where that ever really happened. But there's no way you can shoot over 40 free throws and consider it one of the greatest single game performances of all time. That's a joke. I'm surprised that hasn't happened sooner, to be honest with you.
Shaquille O'Neal definitely shot that many free throws at times. I guarantee it.
No, he didn't. Not in a game. I bet you not. No? Hey, I'll tell you what. I bet. Hey, Bam has 43. When is Shea gonna get to 53?
Yeah, you have to raise the bar for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander now. Right.
Shaquille O'Neal's most in a game was 39. Good call, Michelle. All right. The Pacers are back home tonight at 7 o'clock at the Fieldhouse in beautiful downtown Indianapolis against one of the league's biggest surprise teams of the year, the 38-27 Phoenix Suns. The Pacers now have the worst record in the NBA after losing to the Kings the other night, and will try to end a 10-game losing streak, kind of. The Pacers are also at home on Friday against the Knicks. That one's on Prime Video. I did see a tweet today that said NBA executives are scared of a potential Pascal Siakam, Ivica Zubac, and AJ Dybantsa front line.
With Tyrese Halliburton at point guard?
Mm-hmm.
And Nembhard?
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be entertaining basketball.
Sign me up, man. It's right up there with the Spurs, who had Robinson sit out a year and then got Duncan. That's what the Pacers are trying to accomplish this year. I'm here for it.
Me too.
Sign me up.
I am too. I mean, that's how the Pistons have built their team right now. That's how San Antonio, and that's how Oklahoma City has the audacity to be complaining when this is exactly how they built their team is terrible.
It'd be great for the league to have a team that good coming back. And now the Pacers are eliminated from playoff contention, no surprise. And you're just finishing out the rest of the year and hoping that the draft lottery is the biggest night in the history of, I don't want to say the franchise, but in terms of the NBA draft, it's the biggest night in
May
franchise
10th.
history.
May 10th.
Yep.
I have the date ingrained.
Man, I based on something you said earlier, though, Greg, we got to do something about this. We got to get this Noblesville Boom coach out of town. Talk about a chuck seat. Jeez.
Man, they were on fire, and then they took all their guys. The Pacers signed them to contracts. Jalen
Bring back the Mad Ants.
Hey, guys, someone brought this up about Shaq earlier. Is I was subbing at school the other day, 4th grade, and the kids have started a basketball unit where they're reading a book about basketball or whatever. And we were going over, and I was teaching about the backboard and stuff. And I kind of went on my own thing about how the first glass backboard was created in Indiana. And somebody asked me, they go, has anybody ever broken the backboard during a game? And I said, oh, yeah. And I showed him the video of Jerome Lane coming down and breaking the backboard. I showed him the Send It In Jerome, and I showed him a video of Shaq breaking the backboard, shattering the backboard. We've all seen that video. And one of the kids goes, Shaq played basketball? And I go, you got to be kidding me. I said, so you only know Shaq for him being an actor or being in commercials? They're like, yeah, I didn't know he played basketball. I said, you've got to be kidding me. I could not believe that kids don't know that Shaq played basketball.
No kidding.
None of my middle schoolers knew who Arnold Schwarzenegger was.
Yeah. Well, how about this? Then none of them are going to remember the guy, I think, that first broke the backboard, wasn't it? Was it Daryl Dawkins? Was the first one to shatter a backboard?
Chocolate Thunder.
Dad.
Chocolate Thunder from the planet Lovetron.
That's right. By the way, congratulations to Zach Carter. He is the new sports editor at the Connorsville News-Examiner.
Oh, congratulations, Zach.
Graduating from Ball State this spring, and excited for Zach, who's been on the podcast, and good dude.
Yep, and excited. It's nice to see Zach get it. It's nice to see Elijah Post. It's nice to see those guys that I have met while out covering these young up-and-comers. I love to see them get jobs, especially because we all know that it's hard. Newspaper jobs are not easy to come by now.
Mike, any thoughts about newspaper jobs?
Nothing that I can say that won't be edited out of the podcast. So.
On tomorrow's show, more Big Ten talk, plus a look ahead to the NAIA men's and women's tournaments on our Friday conversation with Kevin Helfrich. You know him, Grant?
I think so.
Plus a look ahead to the boys basketball regionals with Grant. You going to join me to talk some boys basketball regionals, Grant?
I sure can.
We'll mostly be talking Lapel and Frankfurt, but also a little Southport and Newcastle.
Okay.
That's it, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. Thanks, guys. Any final words?
This is March.
Screw Martinelli.
It's the greatest month of the year, right? March.
Sure.
When it comes to basketball.
It used to be.
It's not quite the same, but still love March. Thanks so much for listening. Please check out our Day 2 Big Ten Tournament basketball recap that we released a little earlier. And on Thursday, our IndyCar report. We'll be back tomorrow and the next day. And the day after that. Please share. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie. Sounded like we were cruising through the 80s there.